So Mitch put up a question, and he asks, what are the main problems, issues that you see with golfers and help them with?
Ooh.
We see a lot of golfers. I'm sure y'all do too, and Moss, we definitely see a lot of golfers. Big thing is low back pain, I think, and oftentimes you can see golfers with sciatica, neck pain, shoulder pain, and hip pain as well. One of the biggest things we'll see with back pain with golf is actually there's a stiff or tight upper back called your thoracic spine position, and when you swing, you should have all the mobility from your swing coming from that upper back area. If that is stiff going into your swing, and our modern world does that to us automatically, driving in the car, sitting at the computer, on our phone, puts us in this box and makes us whole upper backs get rounded and stiff. If it can't extend during the swing, the lower back then is the area where the body moves from. And the lower back being a stable portion of the spine. If that starts to become too hypermobile to compensate for the lack of upper back mobility, then you're going to have pain in that area. And that can lead to muscular pain in the back, stenosis, facet issues, bulging discs, herniated discs, and nerve impingement of the spine too. So I'd say it's and same mechanism, upper back being stiff, also neck pain, shoulder pain.
Here he goes.
Here we go. The floodgates have opened.
You can boil it. You can broil it.
I'm nerding out now. Here we go. Yeah. So I'm done. Cut me off. Cut me off. Have somebody else take over.
I would also say, in terms of function, the tight upper back is probably one of the number one things. So if you're a predominant golfer, if you can't quite get that rotation, your swing's probably not going to be as good. I would say the other thing that I see a lot too with some of the golfers I've worked with recently is tight hips. So actually tightness in the hip sockets themselves, which is then going to also contribute to a lot of stuff that Matt was talking about in terms of not getting the proper mobility that you need. You're not going to get your femurs to rotate the right way, which is you're going to compensate to make up for that. And as a result, you're working a lot harder to get a good swing and get a good hit on the ball. That's only going to take you for so long before it's, the back pain kind of shows up. And then with some of maybe with a lot of the golfers that I've seen, sort of their story is, it starts off just getting a little stiff after the game. I take a little, ibuprofen now before I go out, and then it's I need the golf cart. I can't, walk the course anymore. So it progresses, and then they go from playing golf 3 times a week to maybe once, maybe occasionally, and then they have to really, mentally prepare that they're going to pay for that later physically. Yeah. So the goal is to not do that, since we do have, the golf courses are opening up. The weather is somewhat beautiful depending on where you're at. So we like getting those guys back out onto the course as comfortably as possible.
Yeah.
I would just add to that too. You guys touched on a lot of the pain complaints that we get, and that's what a lot of people obviously have issues with, is that they're not able to golf comfortably anymore. But what's really cool is once we get past that part, we see a lot of golfers here in Beverly Hills. Once they get past that, then come the comments about how much better they're playing and how much further they're able to hit. And they came in thinking I just don't want to be in pain. I just want to I want to be able to enjoy my weekend golfing, because we're in Southern California, we can do that basically year round. But seeing them get past that and just be like, holy crap, this is the best I've ever played in my life. That's a really cool part too, is just the performance part.
Yeah,
exactly.
Adding yards to the drive.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the reality of it. So I think a question like that usually is, can you help me hit the ball straighter and farther?
Yeah.
And the answer is absolutely, because if you think about what Lisa and Elisa are talking about, the thoracic spine, your upper back is supposed to rotate. So all those segments, if it's stiff, you're losing all of that rotational ability to drive the ball. you're also working around that, which means the ball, you could end up blocking, slicing, doing things to compensate, which are changing and adjusting. And the golf pros these days, if you're working with one, are so good. They can help you change your stance, change your grip, change your mechanics. The problem with those workarounds, though, is that they change your natural swing. So you're not using the body the way that it should. So if you can't, let's say, if you're a right-handed golfer and you can't weight transfer and get your weight forward onto your left side, so you can't finish on your follow through, it means that you're going to be stuck on your back leg, back foot, and you might shift your pelvis rather than rotate it. And there's a whole school of golf that will tell you that's the right way to do it. But from a natural standpoint, whether you're MMA fighting or whether you're doing something else where you're trying to get power, the power comes from the hips and that turn. So if you're not doing that, you are losing distance, you're losing potential yards. So it's not uncommon. We get people coming in, and no matter their age, they're adding 20, 30, 50 yards to their drives from doing nothing on our side in terms of knowing about golf, just because they're swinging freer, which that's a good point that a golf guy used to always say, like, that's why they call it a swing and not a hit, because you're swinging, which means it's free, versus you're trying to like muscle or power this thing. And if you're trying to do that, then, the game's already lost.
Right.
That's awesome. I've never heard that before.